Since its debut in 2017, the UFC Women's Flyweight division has endured a troubled start, with Valentina Shevchenko's match with Jessica Eye marking the belt's first defense in its 17-month history. Most blame the turbulence on the first champ, Nicco Montano, whose reign saw her go from reality TV underdog to one of the sport's most maligned fighters. And in today's episode, we'll tell you how it happened. Welcome to the INC, and this is the story of the worst champion in UFC history. At King of the Cage Evolution in 2015, Nicco Montano made her pro debut against 1-2 Stacy Sigala. Montano entered the match with a strong pedigree, amassing an unbeaten amateur record, and her father being a former Golden Gloves champion. And those skills were put to good use as Montano finished with strikes late in the first round.
Bashing away, this should be stopped any second, and that's it.
Over the next year, Montano bounced around regional shows across the Southwest, alternating wins and losses against the likes of Pam Sorensen and fellow Tough cast member Shayna Dobson, where she earned praise for her strength and ability to maintain a high pace throughout her fights. By the time she lost to Julia Avila at HD MMA, Montano held a 3-2 record and was seen as a step below the sport's elite level, when she received a call to compete on UFC's reality show, The Ultimate Fighter. Season 26 was designed to crown the UFC's first women's flyweight champion, with producers hoping for success similar to the show's all-strawweight season in 2014. Montano's low profile saw her given the 14th seed, with most experts predicting the 28-year-old would be one of the show's early casualties. But it didn't stop UFC president Dana White from providing a glowing assessment in his pre-show interviews.
Nicco is incredibly strong, and she has unbelievable work ethic and trains harder than everybody else, and that she has a ton of heart. So she could seriously be the dark horse of this tournament.
Montano would be the revelation of the season, with her high-pressure wrestling seeing her overcome a number of high-profile scalps, including wins over Lauren Murphy, Montana De La Rosa, and former Invicta champion Barb Honchak. In the final, Montano took on MMA pioneer and number 1 seed Roxanne Modafferi. After an even start, Montano took control by the third, scoring a series of takedowns and using her pace and pressure to wear down her short-notice opponent. When Montano scored a takedown in the middle of the 5th, the Arizona native looked on course for an easy decision, until Modafferi threw a Hail Mary armbar in the dying stages of the fight.
She needs to try to roll Nicco to her back. Oh, she's attacking armbar. Oh, the arm stuck. Oh, popped out. Slipped out.
All 3 judges ruled the bout in favor of Montano, with one scoring 50-45 and the other two 49-46, making her the first Native American to ever win a UFC title. After teasing a break from the sport at the start of the year, Montano became an overnight sensation, appearing on multiple MMA talk shows and becoming a celebrity in her local commune. And with the sport's most dangerous and popular fighters moving to flyweight, Montano was set to be one of the UFC's most focused champions. The most dangerous, however, was just around the corner. In February 2018, Valentina Shevchenko made her flyweight debut against UFC newcomer Priscilla Cachoeira. Shevchenko was considered one of the pound-for-pound women in the world, holding wins over Juliana Pena and Holly Holm, and many were keen to see how she'd fare in her ideal weight class. Shevchenko dominated the fight, landing 230 strikes to Cachoeira's 3 in one of the most one-sided fights in UFC history, eventually winning by submission 4 minutes into the second round.
And there's the tap. Flyweight division, say hello to your worst nightmare.
Shevchenko was immediately named the number 1 contender, and plans for a fight between herself and Montano were immediately put into place. Montano, however, was resistant to a quick turnaround, undergoing a number of surgeries whenever fight rumors began to build pace. A planned main event at Fight Night Calgary fell through due to Montano having her tonsils removed, and speculation began that the champion was intentionally ducking her opponent.
She's insinuating that, I'm insinuating that she is quote-unquote afraid of Shevchenko, which I never said.
Right.
I said the UFC is losing patience because they want to book this fight. And then Shevchenko later on that day came out and actually backed up my report and said that she signed the bout agreement.
By the summer, progress had been made, with Montano and Shevchenko set to square off in the co-main event of UFC 228. Montano's approach to the fight was surprisingly lackluster, taking a relaxed approach to training and appearing notably softer than her appearance on Tough. Later reports suggested Montano entered fight week 20 pounds above the 125-pound weight limit, and her opponent increasingly unconvinced the fight would take place.
I hope that Nicco, she will follow her word
and will show up in the octagon and we will fight. Because how I say every time, before she will be inside of the octagon, I cannot believe that she will do it.
Shevchenko's fears were realized when Montano was transferred to hospital due to complications relating to her weight cut, forcing her fight to be cancelled the day of the weigh-in. Montano was the only fighter who failed to make weight for the card, and considering the show had Darren Till, that's saying something. The failed weigh-in was the final straw for the UFC, who stripped Montano of her title after 10 months of injury, ill will, and 0 title defenses.
Very rarely is there an instance where a champion gets stripped and you don't find a way to side with the fighter. This one kind of feels justified. It was pushed back way too many times. Unfortunate for both of these ladies because they're both great martial artists.
The final blow for Montano came at UFC 231, as Shevchenko won the vacant belt against Joanna Jędrzejczyk, while Montano was removed from the flyweight rankings, 1 year and 4 days after winning the belt on TUF. Montano remained out of the spotlight until April, when it was revealed she along with 3 other fighters were serving a 6-month suspension for Osterine, with her ban set to be lifted in the middle of May. In the space of a year, Montano went from one of the sport's feel-good stories to a figure of ridicule, damaging her own career as well as the short-term success of 125. History, however, embraces the positives, and for better or worse, it's likely fans and fighters will never forget Nicco Montano.
Congratulations on becoming the 2nd ever flyweight champion of the UFC. Would you consider giving the first champion a title shot?
Who's that?
That answers my question.
This is the INC, and thank you for watching.